Awesome. All right. Well, hi, everyone. It's my honor to introduce Jason Frazier and tell you a little bit about him before he comes up. Jason Frazier has been with Mind's Eye Radio since 2012 in various roles. He started as a part-time board operator for the station, then transitioned to community outreach coordinator in 2013, and then the development director in 2015. And in 2018, he became president and CEO. Some things Jason does outside of Mind's Eye is coach his son's pre-K and kindergarten basketball team, sit through 525 dances at his daughter's dance competition, or spend hours watching hours of Law and Order with his wife, Erin. He also currently serves on National Beep Baseball Association Board, Illinois State Library Advisory Council, and Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville Alumni Association Board. In the Cahokia, Illinois native, graduated from Gubal Catholic High School and is a proud SIUE Mass Communication alum. He was also selected in the Focus St. Louis 2020-2021 Leadership St. Louis class and was selected by the St. Louis Business Journal as one of the 2020 Diverse Business Leaders. So without further ado, Jason Frazier.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, or good, yeah, I guess it is afternoon. Did you make sure I got the right day, little bit off there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, a little height. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm in the frame. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for inviting me here today. Sandra alluded, I was a proud graduate of SIUE, and it wasn't the bio as well. When I graduated SIUE, so it kind of gives you this whole kind of story of how I got to Mind's Eye. When I was in SIUE, one of the things I really wanted to do was be a sports journalist. That's why my degree's in mass comm. So I started working at 101 ESPN, but if you have any idea about the field of journalism, it was part-time, so I needed another part-time gig. I looked up, and this will really date when I started Mind's Eye. I looked up on Craigslist, and I saw the job posting. But what's kind of special about Mind's Eye for me, what we do is we build a more inclusive community for those who are blind and visually impaired. When I saw the posting, I grew up in Cahokia, Illinois. How many of you have been to Our Lady of the Snows, the shrine, the Way of Lights? See, a lot of people. So you pass by Mind's Eye. When you pass by that, that little dome tower, all the lights hang, that building right to the left, that's where the office is at. I passed by a building a lot of times, going to Jabot Catholic High School, going to Catholic school as a child. Also, growing up there, my grandmother was visually impaired. Lived in our house. When I talk about our audio description program, the thing that I probably point to the most is I've been audio describing for my whole life, didn't know it. When I was watching The Price is Right with my grandma and telling her all the people tackling Bob Barker, didn't know it was audio description at the time. So skills been, something I was using way back when. But getting to Mind's Eye, knowing what the core mission was at that time, we read newspapers, magazines, books on a radio signal for those who are blind or visually impaired. So we'll send out back then we only just sent out a small radio box. And it only had Mind's Eye in the box. So you turn the radio, turn this one little knob, you would hear a volunteer reader giving you the Post-Dispatch for the day, reading you the Wall Street Journal, reading you even the Rolling Stone magazine with all the colorful language in there, because we don't edit any of the material. Even something as simple that we take for granted for someone who's sighted is the grocery store ads. Because I can go into a store when the few times my wife let me go shop and I don't do a bad job, I can go in that store and see the $1.99 yellow sales sticker and know that item's for sale. But what about someone who's blind or low vision going to make those decisions as a shopper? They would need to know that in advance. Even if you have something as, Black Friday ads, because we all look for those, look for the deals, what TV is going to be $100 that we can stand in line for that day. We read those as well to make sure people get that information. Your local magazines, your local publications like Feast or something, or Sauce Magazine to tell you about the nice, trendy restaurants. I'm actually tomorrow, I'll go, we're working on a video project. There's a friend of mine, Taswita. She's been my friend, one of the people I talk to a lot since I started in this position at Mind's Eye. The way she got acquainted by the station is she was not born blind. She was a teacher, living in this community. She was going through a divorce. It was the divorce that she always said was going as good as it could go for divorces. Until one day her ex-husband shot her in the head and left her for dead. Luckily, through the grace of a good Samaritan, they were able to find her. She lost her vision as a result, though. She still was living, but not really living as she will tell you. Kind of trying to figure out where to go for life. Someone told her, say, hey, there's this radio that I'm going to give you. It reads newspapers, reads the ads. Just sweet as a confessed shopaholic, she'll tell you that too. So she heard the ads and she said, oh, I'm going to go to the store and go buy this coat that they said was on sale for Black Friday. Then she heard about a restaurant. Now, if you talk to Jaswita now, she's probably one of the most outgoing people. She's actually the president of the service club for the block. She just talked about how the radio got her in sync back with the community. So when we talk about our broadcast program, that's what we aim to do. We've been doing that for the full 50 years of our operation. We then noticed there's other needs in the community that weren't being met in the community, in the St. Louis area. A lot of you probably are familiar, who's familiar with The Lion King? Any of the versions, even whether it's the original Old Faithful from 1994 or 93, or even, I think, the live action, which I'm not that big of a fan of, but it's still, still kind of the same. So in that movie, there's that first 10 minutes where there's Rafiki is holding Simba up at Pride Rock. And when he's holding them up, all the animals are coming by. There's a circle of life music playing. Now, I want you to picture that, all that imagery. Imagine being someone who's blind, trying to sit there at 2 minutes of silence of what's going on. So what we do with audio description is provide, the visual elements of that. We'll describe those scenes. We'll describe things like the Muni, the Fox. Even if you go to a local, if you go to the Cardinals game or to a St. Louis City SC game. Just say, for example, you're going to a Cardinals game and Fred Bird is going to pie somebody in the face. I know they can tell you all the play-by-play on the radio or the TV, but they don't tell you that part of the experience at the stadium. Or even something as simple as the wave. Because I'm looking over, I can see it in 138. I can see the wave is coming my way. If I want to participate and I'm someone who's blind, I need someone to tell me, hey, the wave is coming 2 sections over. So those are the types of things that we describe with those experiences. Even if you go to the zoo, we have there's tours provided at the zoo. It's not just about describing the animals. One time we were there was a wedding procession that was going on. So the describer queued up the mic again to say, hey, right now there's a bride walking by with her dress. She's doing this. We make sure we're describing multiple things going on in the community. When we started that program in 2016, we described 24 events. That was our goal. This past year, we described 163 events. That is not double, but multiplied mainly because of outside the St. Louis region. Also the amount of opportunities for virtual stances and people knowing more about audio description. So that's one of our programs we do. And we probably have impacted a lot more lives, whether it's in different age ranges. Because we describe everything from Disney on Ice, Sesame Street Live to, your play at the Repertory Theater, or even, for example, I know on the Illinois side, we go to Looking Glass Theater 11. We audio describe shows there. It leads me to my next thing I'm going to try to pull up here. Yep, I see it. I'm going to pull that up. So one of the things that we also did at Mind's Eye, when I started Mind's Eye, we were doing a fundraiser once a year. We still do it now, called the Ultimate Beatball Tournament. I didn't know anything about beatball, but I told you before, background always is interested in sports, whether it's baseball, hockey, pro wrestling. I know some people don't say it's a sport, sports entertainment too. So yeah, I like someone who said it's a sport, but just interest in all types of sports and activities. And someone said, "Hey, we do this thing called Beat Baseball. It is baseball adapted for blind and visually impaired players." My first thought is probably some of you probably have the same thought, is how does that work and how does no one get seriously hurt playing baseball with a blindfold or being blind or visually impaired? And then also you think about the other things about baseball, they tell you, see the ball, hit the ball, look the ball into your glove, things like that. So that applies to that game. But here's a sport that, so central to our area. In this region, we are known as a baseball community. Even, you talk about just building a better, making sure people are included in the community, whether it's someone who's played baseball their whole lives, and then suddenly has lost their vision and know that game is taken away from them, or someone who's never played the game but has always been interested in playing. Now you can do the sport that everybody else is doing, incorporate also the physical areas of it. So we started doing it as just a once a year fundraiser. And in 2017, we were approached by a school that said, "Hey, can you guys come out and do a beat ball demonstration? We have a young gentleman in the school. He's blind. It'd be nice if we can, instead of him not being able to participate in PE or field day, you guys come out and we level the playing field for his fellow classmates to also see what he goes through in a day." So we did the beat ball demonstration, and then we got called 2 weeks later for another one. I think the next like three months later for another. So we're like, maybe we should do this on a regular basis. Continue to do this. So we added beat ball demonstrations. And then in 2019, I was approached, and someone said, "Hey, you guys do beat baseball. This area doesn't really have a team that participates in the Beat Ball World Series." I didn't know there was a Beat Ball World Series. So, I got super interested. How do we do that? Part of me, being the new CEO in my role, I was like, I probably shouldn't take on anything else. But the sports side of me is like, I'm really interested. So we went for it. We said, "Hey, we'll have a team. We'll start in 2020. Nothing started in 2020, as we all know. So we didn't start till 2021, and we launched the Gateway Archers. And what we said was a 1 year, one time, or not one time, but once a year thing we're gonna do, take this team to the World Series. And I was like, that's all we're gonna do. I'll show you this video, you understand that I completely lied about all of that. Oh, share. I'll let you do that before I mess up something there. Yeah, he's helping me again, all over again. Circle of life.
I know, right? Oh, the volume. What's the volume?
I love this game. Competitive, skilled, exhilarating, intense. Fun. Hi, this is Bob Costas, here to tell you about a very special World Series. 20+ teams from around the nation will compete all week in tournament play. Skills competition includes a long ball contest, and it culminates in the World Series championship game. My first one. The Archers losing their first local tournament here in Slices, down 7-5 at the beginning of the fourth. Archers pitcher Johnny Walker got hot, and the hometown team brought out the big lumber, scoring 13 runs in that inning alone, never looking back. The Archers are now just 2 wins away from the big championship contest. Beat baseball, or beat ball, is an adaptation of America's favorite pastime, designed for the visually impaired.
I'm gonna stop. Now I'm loud, super loud. I want to give you guys kind of a visual there of what beat baseball looks like, so you understand kind of. There's a lot of dynamics that are different. Also, want to give a kudos to one of Mind's Eye's original reading volunteers, Bob Costas, who also provided that for us and that the narration for us. So beat baseball, if you've noticed, the pitcher's mound is pretty close because the pitcher is actually on the batting team. So the pitcher, if you're getting all the strikeouts that day, that's not a good job. That's why I don't pitch. So you want to make contact. So the key rule for that, you see this ball, if I take out this pin, it has this beeping noise. So your batter doesn't want to listen to that ball beep. He's not listening for that. He's listening for your pitcher saying, set, ready, pitch. So they have a tune of communication. So once he puts that ball into play, the job is to run. So you saw those guys tackling those big, long pylons. Those are bases. So you have to make it to first base or third base. It's randomly selected. So there's someone who's operating the switch. So once their job is to make it to that base, that buzzing base, before the fielders, which there are 6 of them, retrieve this beeping ball. So they retrieve it first, it's an out. They make it to the base, it's a run scored. When we hold our oats, so I'll give you an idea of the athletes we're talking about for beat baseball. When we hold our Ultimate Beat Baseball tournament, anyone like you or I can play. We have people come out from companies, do team building, just groups of friends. Your scores are like 2-0, 2-1. It's pitchers duels. Last year, I think we participated in a game. I shouldn't even bring this up. We got eliminated by the Houston team in the World Series, and the score was 23-21. So the skill of the pitchers who put the ball to play, make contact, and these athletes, the bases are 100 feet apart. Some of these guys can make it to that base in 4.5 seconds. I probably can't even make it out that door from here running in 4.5 seconds. So just seeing the amount of how they play the game without fear, without hesitation. As I said, kind of part of that video, we said we were going to do once a year. And we go to 2 tournaments per year in the World Series. We went to the first World Series, went to in 2021. And the brain started flowing again, saying, hey, we have an opportunity here because what we've done in St. Louis with audio description, with our broadcast program and the other things that are going on in this community, we have a lot of accessible offerings. We could host the World Series. So we put in a bid to host in 2022, and we won the bid to host in 2024 and in 2025. So this is actually the first time a non-city, usually it's hosted by the city, so it would be like the city of Edwardsville, but with Mind's Eyes, the host for this event. Also, we will be the first time someone's had it 2 years in a row. I think a lot of the talk is the league is looking for a permanent home, so I think we're getting the first shot. So we've done a lot more than just go to 1 World Series a year. And I'm very proud of that with the team we have, what we built here. Because not only is it about the athletics portion of being able to say, hey, I represent this team, I'm trying to win the World Series to play. Just this morning and almost every night, I can see the group text, the guys doing social activities together. So much of it is taken from so many things we take random for sports. As I think it was mentioned, I coach my son's basketball team, I coach his soccer team. I retired from coaching baseball. I said I'm done somewhere this year. But even knowing that now, growing up playing sports, I still have friendships that I developed from sports back then. Some of these guys have never played in a team sport. Because a lot of times you have blind sports, there's something that's individual like wrestling or something that's just swimming or something like that. Now they're on the team, they're talking about fantasy football, they're trying to figure out who's watching the Super Bowl this week. I